Amanda's Love Part 1. From the Space Corrupt Saga. Any resembly to reality is purely coincident. Clock Time. Chapter 1 Neza Mart Station Year 2345. Amanda adjusts her mask like someone adjusting an old scarf, with an automatic gesture, not quite believing anything protects her. The visor shows her own face, divided by lines of light and a flashing sign that reads, Emotional Balance, 213. In the corner of the panel, a minor notification. Memory Travel, Partial. She breathes. Outside, the vertical city of Neza Mart chews over its routine, towers that continue shifts, screens that distribute contracts and announcements. In the 20th floor dining room, food comes in gel capsules, labeled with inspiring names, Monday Joy, Workplace Sympathy, Honest Smile. People open them with spoons and pass their smiles around as if sharing gossip. A guy at the next table laughs with a sparkle that doesn't reach his eyes. Amanda already knows that her laughter has a limit in the database. She chews what she's supposed to and looks at her clock. In 60 minutes she has an emotional break. In 60 minutes she can disconnect from the intranet flow, walk to the maintenance room, and think about anything not limited by the contract. Her contract with Neurotech has been printed on her skin for years, clauses that self-execute in the interface, charges for subsidized emotionality, and scheduled memory wipes. She has written neurocode for the company, routines to modulate tenderness, patches to stabilize emotional discontinuities. She knows how to assemble a memory file, she knows where neurodata is loaded and which button not to press. And yet, there are nights when she looks at her own hand and feels like someone else is manipulating it. In the panoramic elevator, the city unfolds in neon terraces. A notice runs through the cabin, tenderness quotas exceeded in Sector 12, immediate adjustment. People lower their gaze like someone receiving a call from the debt collector. Amanda smiles out of habit. Outside, Mars pulses with free-thinking basement markets, imagination smugglers, workshops where the past is translated into a more saleable format. She knows there's an underground station where someone stores things that shouldn't exist. She knows the name, Alex. Sometimes the name sounds like that of a stranger, other times it beats against her temple like a drum. The work night ends, and Amanda stays in her cubicle for a while longer. She lowers the panel's brightness, enters the stealth mode she once invented to test a patch no one uses anymore, and accesses her file. The entries come in fragments: Memory 11 block deleted, Memory 14 edited by corporation, Memory 27 effective hash. The file makes a noise, as if someone were scratching a disk. She finds an encrypted string she doesn't recognize, saves it, and goes out into the hallway. The night smells of warm metal and burnt bread. The station's pipes play rhythms that sometimes resemble rhythms. Walking toward the maintenance module, Amanda passes by the company mural, a stylized map of the solar system with logos where names once stood. Above the Neurotech logo, someone has spray-painted the word "Remember Yourself." It makes her laugh, a short, bitter laugh. She doesn't know who painted it, she doesn't need to know. In the maintenance room, everything is strange and domestic: coiled cables, oil cans, coffee cups with worn labels of affection. There, between workbenches and diagnostic screens, are boxes labeled with names that read like poems: tenderness backup, feelings reinstallation, grief packs last resort. Amanda opens one of the boxes out of simple habit and finds a device shaped like a keychain, a raw emotional hash. She takes it with her fingertips and feels a thump she can't measure, a pulse, a note, something far from the file and deep inside her. During that break, she usually meets the technicians on duty, with whom she exchanges patches and rumors. But tonight, there's someone different in the shadows, a man with tied-back hair, graphite-stained hands, and a smile that doesn't fit the fatigue of the station. She knows him from photos, from rumors, from basement lore: Alex, the archival technician. They introduce themselves without formalities. Alex looks at her like someone looking at a complicated equation, and yet it's simpler. he looks at her as if he could recognize a mistake in his own memory. "You're looking good," Alex says, pointing at the mask. "Enough balance for a lie or two." She smiles back with a calculated gesture. She doesn't trust cheap glances, nor premium ones. He sits down, takes out a small module, and places it on the table with the care of someone leaving a relic. "This isn't signed by Neurotech," he says, almost in a whisper. "Copy off the fork. Memories they didn't want to upload to the server. Are you interested?" Amanda goes over the word interesting in her head. She's interested in everything that doesn't look at her with the packaged brilliance of the company. She takes the module and holds it to her ear like someone listening to a story. "Inside are voices, rumors from another life, laughter that tastes like autumn, and a version of a name that hasn't stopped coming back, Alex. They speak like those who exchange passwords, with half-truths, with phrases that hide maps." Alex explains in broad strokes what he does. He saves alternative versions, all the plots that the official network decides aren't convenient. He's a clandestine archivist. He doesn't just save unedited memories, he shares them, scattering them like seeds. He has an AI network on Mars that recycles forbidden memories and turns them into tiny strands of consciousness that people can download into their own memories. "And why do you do it?" Amanda asks. Alex shrugs, and his smile breaks into a sadder line. "Because they want us to forget," she says. "Because if no one remembers, no one will be able to rebel, no one will have feelings that aren't authorized." The phrase hits Amanda like ice water. She thinks of her own file. She thinks of the edits. She thinks of the hole where the things that hurt end up. She thinks of the idea that the past can be sold and forgotten or remembered in pieces. And then, without warning, she tells Alex a small but triggering detail, a phrase she finds in her deleted file, something she half remembers, as if she'd dreamed it and it had been edited before waking up. Alex listens, studies the phrase, and without saying another word transcribes it in her notebook, formulas, references to informational brains, dimensions as data structures, where what is preserved and transmitted is energy and data patterns, a code that Amanda recognizes but doesn't fully understand. It's the first time someone else has seen that writing in her file and doesn't judge her. It's the first time someone has taken seriously the possibility that she isn't just a contract. The conversation drags on. They talk about algorithms and pulse. About how tenderness is measured and how pain is quantified. Amanda tells him, her voice growing more frank as the night thickens, about the flickering in her register, the SCI algorithm, SCI, a name that sounds like an urban legend among her colleagues, a theoretical piece that, according to rumors, did something Neurotech denies in official forums: rewrite mnemic resonances, memory, move forks, recreate memories that it has edited, erasing authorized history. Alex doesn't smile. His gaze sharpens. "What if it's not an urban legend?" he says. "What if someone saved it?" Amanda thinks about her contract printed on her skin, the patches she installed herself, and the nights when she took off her mask and counted the seconds until her programmed memory was edited. She thinks about how her life is occupied by hands other than her own. And, for a moment, she feels a decision thrust before her like an open lock, to learn more, even if it puts her in the spotlight. She leaves the room, the module clutched in her palm. Outside, Mars breathes ancient winds. In the elevator, an alert flickers on the screen: authenticity protocol maintain level. Amanda leans her forehead against the glass and looks at the city like someone looking at a map of possibilities. Beneath her skin, an emotional hash throbs. She decides not to return home. She decides to follow the clue Alex left on her table: an underground network, a name, a small eclipse of Phobos with its own little distraction. On the elevator screen, before the door closes, an almost imperceptible phrase appears, written like digital graffiti: "Remember not to be what they sell you." Amanda puts it away. And when the station swallows up the night, she feels less alone. Something has changed, he knows things have been taken from him. Now he knows someone is keeping them. And that someone, perhaps, will return them.